Hey there, I'm Further Reading. Today we're going to talk about using crossbows in Dwarf Fortress. I mentioned in my military video that crossbows are bugged and you should probably not use them. And that's true when you're first starting out. But at this stage, you've probably been playing a bit, you've probably watched all of my videos, you are getting a lot better at navigating Dwarf Fortress, which means you might know enough to get around these kinds of issues. So I'm going to go over some tips that I use to get the most value out of my crossbows. The first thing I want to talk about is the bolt bug. This is when your Marksdwarves will not refill the ammo. You'll see here that Zugler has a quiver but has no bolts in it. And if I open up his equipment screen, you'll see this is marked as yellow, which means that he's not equipped, but he's got something he wants to equip. Except that's a lie. He will never equip these bolts.
You liar!
I have tried everything. Some people say that they'll only equip newly built bolts. I tried that, didn't work. Some people say that they'll equip bolts if they're not stored in bins. I tried that, didn't work either. I've tried fiddling with uniforms, fiddling with orders, fiddling with schedules, making them go off duty so they change outfit and put it back on. And nothing I've tried has allowed them to refill the bolts. The only fix I found consistent is the following. We need to make a new crossbow squad and move my crossbows into that other squad. So here's kind of a fast way to do it. First of all, you want to go to your noble screen. You want to go to the militia captain of your archer group and you want to replace him with just anybody. It doesn't really matter. Then either make a new squad. If you have an empty squad, you can use that. We're going to go to the nobles and we'll do here the militia captain for Bad Hill is going to be our old one. So that's the Obark. There we go. And there we go. Now he's the militia captain for Bad Hill. We're going to go to the equipment and we're going to assign it the Expos uniform. And this is how you know it's going to work. You'll see that as soon as I assign it, there's no icon for the quiver or for the bolts. And that means that this is going to work when I finish doing it. Next step now is to fill back up the squad. So we're going to hit this button, assign the position, and look through everyone who's in the other squad. That's the artificers of cloistering. There we go. And I'm just going to manually move them over. There you go, that's everyone moved over now. We head back to squads, if you go to equipment, we'll see that they are in there now. They all have Expos as their uniform, and you will see they are missing the quiver and the bolts. Then we're going to go to our old one, we're going to delete it, and then we'll go back to equipment. We're going to unpause. And there you go, you'll see now the quivers have appeared, as well as some of them have the bolts appearing, so they know they have to get bolts. What's going to happen now is they don't consider this armor to belong to their squad, so they might end up taking off the current suit of armor and putting on a new suit, but they will end up refilling their bolts. As I mentioned, this is a bug. Hopefully it'll be fixed soon, but at the time of recording, there is no confirmation yet on when this will be sorted out. Okay, so now that you know about the bolt bug, let's talk about how do you actually control your archers, and this can be a bit complicated. You might think all you need to do is assign a kill order and they'll run over and start shooting the enemy, but this is unreliable. How the kill order works is the dwarf will want a path to a tile in which they can attack the enemy in melee. Usually, if they have ranged weapons and they have their ammo, once they get into a spot where they can attack from range, they will stop moving and start range attacks. But this isn't reliable, so sometimes they'll do this, other times they won't. You can't really trust that they'll always make the correct decision here. You might send one over and start beating them in the face. Usually, if the enemy is in melee with a pet or a soldier, then they'll usually stick back and fire. But as I've said, it's unreliable. In addition, let's say they're attacking a creature who they can attack, but they can't path to. For example, one issue I had in this fort is I had a flying beast that ended up hanging out up here against this wall. And because it was up here and because there was no path to get within melee range of it, the attack order was not working. What I had to do was had to hit station. I had to station them over here, and as they came down, they end up seeing the creature as they came in through the doors and start shooting the creature up here instead. So while they can't get a kill order, as long as they get to the square in which they can make the attack through some means, then they'll start doing the attack. However, the station command is not fully reliable either. When you use the station command, what happens is it tells them to go to an area. So if I click here, for example, they'll want to be in this area around the square. So we'll see now the doors are back open. If I unpause and they start moving, we'll see some of them are still moving down. So he is actually moving to get up to this side over here. So some will go be over here, and the rest of them you can see he's coming in this way. So even though this is the wrong side of the fortifications, they're going to be over here. In addition, for fortifications, they have to be 1 square away to actually shoot through it. So he's actually the only one who's stationed in the correct place. These 2 guys are in the danger zone because they're where the creature is going to be. And these 2 guys are just off doing their own thing. These 4 people actually are off doing their own thing, just in a very stupid place. So how do you do it instead? How do you make sure that your dwarves are standing when you need to stand? You can see them all nicely lined up over here. How do I make this happen? Well, I use bows for this. We'll see they have the defend archers order at the moment. If I open up my bows, you'll see that archers is right up here. So because they're on this order, they have to be within the bow, and because the bow is this line, they'll be in the position that they have to be in. They'll be here shooting the enemy as it comes through. The way that this is set up, the enemy will come down, so this goes to the cavern layers. So the enemy will come up through here, come this way. As it comes through this open area, they'll be here, and it'll be pew 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 as it comes in, and then it comes down under here, climbs up here, and then because right now Forgotten Beasts are bugged, all I have to do is lock these doors, and then it's going to be up here, ready to be shot. But of course, they can't shoot from where they are because they have to be within 1 square of the fortifications, so I have to move them over there. So what I'm going to do is go to repaint this burrow. We are going to draw over here a new section of burrow. We're going to remove the old section of burrow, press accept, and now when I unpause it, you'll see they're going to move down now to the new section. They'll move exactly where they need to be, and they'll start pew 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 over here. And then if the monster gets scared and tries to run off and goes back into this area, all I gotta do is again just go here to repaint, draw a new one up here, delete the old one, accept, and look them go now up to the north. I think some of them are going to sleep down there, but the rest of them, the ones who aren't going to sleep, are heading back up here and heading to the north. Lastly, I want to talk about training your crossbow dwarves. As I mentioned in my military video, one trick you can do with barrack zones is you can place them where you want your soldiers to be guarding, and that way while they are effectively doing a guard task, they're also training and raising their skills. That's why I've set up over here. So they're standing over here, and you'll see as well that they are actually doing crossbow demonstrations while they're up here. They also do striking demonstrations, which is teaching them how to hit people with the crossbow better when they're out of ammo, or if they're being stupid and just attacking in melee. Alternatively, you can build archery targets. You'll see I've built some down over here, and they will use them when they're training. You'll see he's going to archery practice, so some of them will choose to go to archery practice, and in fact even when they're not set to training, if they're bored, they will sometimes do archery practice as well. I have this set up this way so that when they're shooting, the bullets should fall down both of these sides, and then your dwarves can collect them, and that way you can minimize how much ammo is wasted when they are shooting. But keep in mind that with the bug I mentioned at the start of the video, if they're practicing in the archery range, they won't refill their ammo. You risk that when you need them to actually fight, you might need to switch their squad, and that'll take ages. So I would recommend, until they fix the bug mentioned at the start of the video, don't use archery targets, only have them train in barracks. And there you go. Here's a bit of a more advanced guide on how to use crossbows effectively. Hopefully some of this guide will become redundant in future as bugs get fixed and the UX gets improved, but for now this is how you get around the issues using your Marksdwarves. I hope you found this guide useful, and if you did, feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to watch more content like this, you can check out any of the videos on screen right now, or you can find me on Twitch where I stream Dwarf Fortress pretty regularly. Hopefully I'll see you soon.